So I decided it was time for an extreme challenge for myself and a new series for you guys, and I decided that the Mario games would be great for this. Obviously, you read the title so you know what's going on, therefore it is time to explain the rules. If I take damage either from falling or making contact with an enemy, I must go back to the beginning of the world I was on. I originally wanted to have it be like a game over, however in this game a game over sends you all the way back to the start of the game, and I don't feel like wasting my life doing this challenge. The next rule is no warping. If I could use a warp pipe, I would be able to skip over half of the game, and that would ruin the fun. If I beat a castle, I get to make a checkpoint so I can load to it if I take damage. And with that said, let's get into the challenge. For World 1, I'm not gonna waste your time with this one, since it is easy. I just plowed through it with a fire flower since there are no advanced skills required yet. I hit the axe after defeating Bowser and was ready for World 2. In level 2-1, I was being careless since I had just got my checkpoint. And this came back to hurt me when I YOLO'd right into some Goombas and had to restart. After that though, I beat the level and moved on to World 2-2, which is a water level. Gosh, I hate these. I was doing really well until a blooper jumped right in front of a fireball I was shooting at a Cheep, so I ran into it thinking I hit it. So then I had to make it all the way back to the level and clear it. 2-3 was one of the levels I was scared of going into this challenge, because it features flying fish that try and surprise you or land on your head. However, I managed to get through it first try with no problems. 2-4 is not as hard as some people will think. Just take your time like I did, and you'll make it through without a scratch. For some reason, level 3-1 was by far the hardest course in this challenge. I just kept dying over and over and over again, and that was probably because this level does not let you move fast. You have to move very slow and carefully. But eventually I was able to make it past it and get to level 3-4, which I died to Bowser, so I had to restart this process all over again. Thankfully I made it back and finished it off. World 4 was not as difficult though. We got through 4-1 on the second try, and then on 4-2, I made a stupid mistake and accidentally went to the warp zone. That meant I had to reset. After that though, we made it through 4-3 and made it to Bowser's Castle, which I did first try. Wait, no. No. It's right there, are you kidding me? So I had to restart the whole thing, but thankfully, soon after, we made it back and finished off World 4. I knew that World 5 would be one of the hardest worlds in this challenge. However, it looked like I was having a really good run, making it through 5-1 and 5-2 on my first try. But then I made it to 5-3, which you saw a clip of earlier in this video. I jumped right into a bullet bill, making me restart, but thankfully, I first tried everything after that. World 6 was also very kind to me. I made it through everything on my first try except for the castle, which took me a few tries and was annoying because I had to restart the whole world, but I eventually got through it, completing World 6. Only 2 worlds to go. World 7 is basically just this big game of dodgeball where you dodge bullet bills, bloopers, and cheeps. Thankfully, only 3 resets were needed to complete this world, and now it was time for the home stretch, World 8. Since in World 8 the levels are much longer, and it would take me a long time to get from the beginning to the end of the world, I decided to make a save point after every single level. That way I wouldn't have to grind for hours. 8-1 obviously took a few attempts, but I eventually was able to beat it. And 8-2 took quite a few attempts, but after I figured out a pattern for everything, I was able to make it through the level, and I even accidentally glitched this part. After that though, I was able to complete it. 8-3 is really hard because it's chocked full of hammer bros, but if you just fireball them before they see you, you'll be good to go. And last but not least is 8-4. Most of my deaths in this level just came from the level being unfamiliar to me. However, after that, I was able to cruise through the level, and there he was, standing right there. Bowser himself. And I wasn't taking any chances with this, so I just fireballed him to death and saved Princess Peach once and for all. So, after all is said and done, I estimate that I reset the game around 15 to 20 times, if you don't count 3-1, which was only because I was messing around, and I couldn't count how many times I died anyways. If this video does well, I'll do a monthly series on the Mario games damageless, and you guys can let me know what I should change, and yeah, that'll be it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.